The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guest, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Broadcasting to you on WNN 1470 AM and TrentoVision.tv from the world's leading think tank laboratory, buried deep in an undisclosed building in hostile territory where evil and corruption is exposed. You're about to enter the Tom Trento Show.
The show has started.
On the advice of counsel, I invoke my right under the Fifth Amendment not to answer on the grounds I may incriminate myself.
Tom, people want to know what happened today with Lois Lerner, who headed up the IRS investigation targeting Tea Party groups, conservative groups, and religious groups. Can we give a little bit more explanation in that, please?
On the advice of counsel, I invoke my right under the Fifth Amendment not to answer on the grounds I may incriminate myself.
Tom, this is a Tom Trento show. You can't just plead the Fifth Amendment on the Tom Trento show. I mean, you have to say a little bit more than that.
Okay. Okay, hang on. Okay. On the advice of counsel, I invoke my right under the Fifth Amendment not to answer on the grounds I may incriminate myself.
Tom, why do you keep leaning towards CJ? She's not even a lawyer.
Yeah, but I am Jewish, so I know what's best.
On the advice of a Jewish person, I invoke my right under the Fifth Amendment not to answer on the grounds I may incriminate myself. Okay, here we are. Hello, everybody.
Too much time on our hands.
We have too much time on our hands. Look, I dressed for a congressional committee meeting. I wore a tie for all of you people that say, "Oh, Tom, you should wear a tie every once in a while." There's my tie. Can I take it off now that we did our little shit?
Yes, because otherwise we're going to start singing the intro to the Flintstones.
Yeah. I'm taking my tie off. Actually, it's Michael's tie. I do have some nice ties. Oh, that Fifth Amendment is so cozy and so comfy, but not today for Miss Lerner, Miss Lois Lerner. Hi, everybody. Tom Trento. Put my tie right there. Back in action. CJ, my Jewish co-host, who you've seen lawyers on TV, haven't you?
Yes,
She plays one.
You played one. That was pretty good.
I'm not a lawyer, but I have seen them on TV.
Yeah, you play one. It's about the caliber of the attorneys in the Obama administration nowadays. What an unbelievable cavalcade of absurdity coming out of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. But we don't know what's going on.
We don't know what's going on.
Who the heck knows? The president's playing golf. Unbelievable.
That's because there's no there, right?
There's no there.
Well, we're glad.
Nothing.
We're glad.
I see nothing. I know nothing. I hear nothing.
Well, we actually do have that clip.
We are glad everybody is with us today on 22 May. You know, it's Memorial Day this weekend. Very, very serious day. On Monday, we're going to have a special show on Monday. But the 22nd of today, Wednesday, and it's about a couple of minutes after 5 p.m. in the afternoon. 5 minutes after 5. I got a magic clock here. 5 minutes after 5 East Coast time. We'd like to say hello to our friends on the West Coast. 6 minutes after 2 o'clock. And to the Tea Party community, our good partners in activism, in education, all of that. Tim Saletti, Jan Morgan and her site, janmorgan.com. You can go there.
All excellent, patriotic, tax-paying citizens.
Under investigation.
Under investigation.
By Lois Lerner. Lois Lane didn't look too good today on her committee meeting. Mark, that was the same room we were in because that's the oversight committee. Same room we were in 2 weeks ago, almost to the day. And her attorneys Lois Lerner's attorneys, and we'll tell you a little bit about her in a second, they pleaded, you talk about pleading, they pleaded with the committee chairman, Darrell Isis from San Diego, congressman, saying, look, she's gonna plead the fifth. Let's not have a circus. Let's not embarrass a good public servant. She's innocent. She's done nothing wrong. Leave her alone. Just take a piece of paper. She's pleading the fifth. Let's not embarrass a wonderful person. Darrell said, no. In fact, he subpoenaed her.
Right.
And Lois heads up the nonprofit component of the IRS, and we'll tell you about that in a second. But thanks, everybody, for tuning in. A couple of things today. We're going to hit this critically important controversy in the Obama administration on the IRS scandal. We do national security, but when you cut the voice of organizations that are taking a stand for the national security of the United States, but those voices happen to be in contradistinction to the Obama voice, you de facto interfere in national security activity. A lot of these groups believe the way we do, and they were denied their legitimate, lawful C3, C4 status so they can go in business, raise money. And the Obama administration knows, cut the funds, cut the flow of bread, shut the voice of the people. And that's why we see this as a national security concern. When you use when you take a totalitarian approach to the exercise of democracy in that scary organization as it is, the IRS, then you need to be called out, and that's what everybody's doing. That's what we're doing right now. So thanks for tuning in.
This is what they do in Venezuela, Cuba,
Yep, exactly.
Russia.
Exactly.
Mr. Chavez, can we have our tax exempt status?
Yeah, I got.
No, I don't think so. You believe the way I do? No, not quite. Nope.
I'm going to take your
tax
farm.
Yeah. Nope. Plus, we're
just-
taking your farm, right?
You know what? I'm sorry. Can I interrupt with one
Yeah,
headline?
what do you got?
Okay, British soldier beheaded outside London
I
barracks.
heard about that this earlier.
Good
God.
grief.
Yeah.
A man believed to be a British soldier was beheaded and hacked up with a meat cleaver by two men who were then shot by police in London Wednesday afternoon. The victim was cut up like a piece of meat, said one eyewitness to the slaughter. And it's being treated as a possible terrorist attack after it was already established that one of the men cutting up the beheaded soldier was shouting Allahu Akbar. Gosh, what's the clue that it could be a terrorist attack?
What country?
I'm sorry, but I just had to.
No. What country today is it? Sweden is going nuts,
Yeah.
burning cars and buildings and everything.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Is
they
it
took
Sweden?
their because it was so successful in France. They thought, why not do it
Why
in
not do it
Sweden,
Sweden?
too?
Are they Muslims doing that?
It's Jews.
There's
Jews.
disorganized,
There are no Jews in Sweden.
disorganized, unruly youth.
There's the Rosen family left in Sweden, and that's about it.
Yeah, right.
There are no Jewish people left in Sweden. Very, very small population. And we have a Muslim
One
uprising.
is too many.
Right.
We have a Muslim uprising. Yeah, exactly. Muslim uprising in Sweden, which is like
Yeah.
always, all the left
Because
look
the
at
government
Sweden.
is not paying for their pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean, all the left always look to the countries like Norway and Sweden as just wonderful socialistic experiments. They got 3 million people in the
Yeah.
whole damn country,
Yeah,
right?
and they pay 70% taxes.
We got 3 million people on our block over here.
Yeah.
And they point to these countries, and now this is just the poor youth are going to need more money and more jobs and all of that.
Except they don't want to work.
They want
Right.
to work. They want more money.
They don't want to integrate into Swedish society. They don't
Right.
want to speak Swedish. They don't want to watch it on television. They want the government to pay them a monthly income and welfare and health care and satellite television so they can get Almanar on their TVs.
Oh well, we're gonna explain and put all the pieces together of this wild and wacky world. For the first part of our show, we're going to deal with the IRS situation, scandal as it is. In the second part, toward the bottom of the hour, we will have a very distinguished patriot. You talk about patriots, very distinguished American, Major General Paul Vallely, who retired about 20 years ago now. Vietnam vet, airborne, the whole thing, West Point grad. And he was with us 2 weeks ago in D.C., Extortion 17 press conference. We're going to ask him to reflect upon the last 2 weeks. He runs an organization called StandUpAmerica.us, and he deals with national security, but with also with constitutional issues. And he has a lot to say about the necessity of reformulating this America that is not the America he grew up in.
You told me something interesting before the show started. He outed Valerie Plame. Was he was the person who did that?
Yeah, he was.
It was
part.
Plame's husband who
Joe
outed
Wilson.
her to Vallely.
Yeah.
So Plame's husband.
Well, there were
Yeah.
several leaks by Wilson. One of them, according to the reports, WorldNet Daily, all of that, General Vallely was a analyst for Fox, and he was in the green room with Joe Wilson. They were going on at different times, and the general's a significant general, special forces. So Joe Wilson felt comfortable telling him about his wife and that her mission was to deal with weapons of mass destruction and those issues. I don't know if today we got short time with him. We can get into that. But that should be a show with him.
I know.
Replay all of that.
I thought that was fascinating.
That
when
could
you told
be
me
very
that.
interesting. Yeah. But today, folks, we want you to know that we're on WNN 1470. We are on the radio. And that was me in my Chicago garb. We're on the radio every day, 5 p.m. East Coast to 6 p.m. And we simulcast our show on the internet on TrentoVision.tv. It's a television show. What does that mean versus a radio show? Radio show you can do in your underwear. Here we got to wear shirts, okay? That's the only difference. And so we wear shirts here.
And we do appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we
But
do.
let's say, is it true that? Oh, yes, I have my underwear. And we throw a lot of stuff so you can look at it. So listen in your automobiles every day, but also go home and after you watch our show, where can you find it? Where can they find our show?
At TrentoVision.tv, at
Where's the archives?
The archives are on
at
right?
youtube.com/TheUnitedWest.
It would be good to put a lower third up while I'm speaking that shows that, but more importantly, one that says it flashes. Do we have any
Flashes,
flashing?
donate
Donate
now.
now. Do we have any?
Donate now while the IRS lets us take your donations
we are
and
a
give you an
C3.
We are a
exemption
C3,
for it.
not those scummy C4s that they're always talking
Right,
about.
you can't get a.
We can't be a scummy C4.
Do we have, Mark, any graphics that say donate but sort of pulsate gently like this?
Well, all you have to do is hit that
Let me finish. They pulsate slowly and gently, and they hypnotize the viewer into donating. Do we have anything like that in
Yeah,
graphics?
it's that upper third that you're seeing on your screen right now, the little United West symbol up there. Click on that, and it'll take you right to the United West page, and you click on the donate button right there.
Oh, okay. Well,
Right
how are
into
they
it.
supposed to know that if we don't tell them?
Well, we're telling you now.
Okay. The little crazy little bubble
Tell
on
them
the
some
left side of
stuff,
our
Tom.
screen at the top, I guess over here.
Right.
Uh-oh, it moved.
Oh,
Click
so
on
go
that.
Back to over there.
Click
Right
right
there.
over here.
To the
Right over here.
Right
Right
there.
there.
Right there. Right there.
Right there.
Right there.
I have a cunning plan.
You can click on that, and can they still listen to us, or does it take them away from us?
No, they can listen to us.
So it just opens
They
a
can
new
do
window.
Opens in a new
both.
page. Opens in a new page.
Oh, cool. Very
Wow.
cool. Okay, good.
So it's high tech.
All right, so you can do that. We appreciate that. Be sure to watch every morning, 6 to 9. Brian Craig, Steve Kane, WNN 1470. We are going to Israel September 30th through the 9th, 10th of October. The reason why I say a couple of dates, there's the regular trip, then there's a 2 or 3 day extension to Eilat and to Petra in Jordan, the country that's soon going to fall and become a Muslim Brotherhood country. So we want to get there right around when that's happening, okay? You got to contact us. Contact Tom at TrentoVision.tv. You got to put your $100 deposit. Got to get ready to do this. It's going to be a phenomenal trip, life-changing trip. We have limited seats. Our group's going to take about 15 people. Come and hang with us. And CJ and Damon will cater for your every need as a tourist. as you're running around. I'll be in a separate room, air conditioned, all by myself. I don't like people around me when I travel, okay?
I take care of the camels.
Actually, we're regular down-to-earth people. We're all hanging out. We eat together. We go to all these different events. It's going to be a blast. It really is going to be good.
Yes, be an eyewitness to history and come with us.
And you, Lois Lerner, you, the head of the nonprofit division of the IRS, you are invited to come because you may be out of a job. Methinks your life expectancy in terms of work as a public servant, civil servant, the IRS is coming to a
She's going
to
to make
a
a gajillion dollars on her
halt.
pension and payoffs and buyouts and hush money and everything else.
You think she's got the genetic makeup to give old Billy the willies or what? You think? You think she'd get Bill looking once or twice?
No.
No.
Well, Bill doesn't
Well,
have
you
that
know
great
what? He's
taste in that.
actually, come to think of it, he's not terribly discriminating.
He's not
He'll
really
take
Go for
it.
those cougars?
he's not
He'll
too
take
discreet.
anything.
I'm saying because if she catches his eye, she's got a consulting job for life. At the William Jefferson Clinton Foundation or the William Clinton Jefferson Foundation or the William Saudi Foundation or whatever the heck he has. Could we see her? Do we have her ready to go?
We have her queued up.
If you didn't see this, folks, this is very interesting, and we're gonna drive this point home right now. That this administration is not acting, functions. The Obama administration functions like a criminal organization, and here is one of their main lieutenants.
Members of this committee have accused me of providing false information when I responded to questions about the IRS processing of applications for tax exemption. I have not done anything wrong. I have not broken any laws.
With that woman.
I have not violated any IRS rules or regulations, and I have not provided false information to this or any other congressional committee.
And I am not a crook.
And while I would very much like to answer the committee's questions today, I've been advised by my counsel to assert my constitutional right not to testify or answer questions related to the subject matter of this hearing.
I know how to do
After
that.
very careful consideration, I've decided to follow my counsel's advice and not testify or answer any of the questions today. Because I'm asserting my right not to testify, I know that some people will assume that I've done something wrong. One of the basic functions of the Fifth Amendment is to protect innocent individuals.
Oh,
and that is the
suddenly you
protection
care
I'm
about the
invoking
law.
today. Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right,
We have some other famous individuals who are also innocent, Tom,
What's that?
We have also other famous individuals who are also innocent.
Well, let's do a little civics lesson here for the First Amendment on, not the First
For
Amendment,
the
Fifth
Fifth,
Amendment.
yeah.
519. Yeah, we're doing good.
Okay.
You got all those amendments, so 1, 2, 3, 10, 9, all that. Some of them are confusing. 1, you understand. 2, 3, I have no idea what 3 is about. 4, who knows what that's about. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, I think there's something there. The rest of them, that one with the,
I plead the
that one that gave women the right to vote, that's a little shaky, but let's go to number 5, okay? No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising of land or naval forces or in the militia, when in actual service in time of war or public danger. This is nothing to do with her. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be put twice into jeopardy. That's double jeopardy. Can't be tried for the same crime twice. Good stuff in number 5.
Yeah.
Nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself. Now we're getting into why you can say, I don't want to testify. I don't want to be a witness against myself. How do you become a witness against yourself? This is where this amendment starts going off the tracks, right? How could you be a witness against yourself?
Don't make me tell you the truth.
If you didn't do anything wrong, right? Nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process, nor shall private property be taken. So the Fifth Amendment only really comes out of nor shall an individual be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself. Now, that's the essence of what she just claimed as her right that has many other rights in that Fifth Amendment. Let's take a second and discuss why somebody who's overseeing an effort where the facts have come out, people within the IRS were, for political reasons, obstructing conservative organizations from getting what is legally and rightfully theirs, an IRS status C3 or C4. What could she possibly do that if she testifies she's going to incriminate herself?
Nothing.
Nothing. She's done nothing. She sees nothing.
This Fifth Amendment thing.
She gave orders to people working for her to toss out those applications.
Okay. So, but she said she did nothing wrong.
Somebody told her that that's what she's supposed to do.
But she said at the outset of her testimony, I've done nothing wrong. I've violated no policy.
Of course she's done nothing
no.
wrong. In her own mind,
Well,
Is
she
lying?
was only following orders.
Is she lying?
She's following orders.
she's following orders. Just following
Has
orders.
anyone else ever in the history of the world ever cited the Fifth Amendment for a desire not to testify when before?
Yeah, we have a couple of those pictures.
I'd like to see if there was anybody that.
Well, there's one. You might recognize this person. See if you can name that person.
Oh, Big Al, Alfonso Capone, Chicago, 1920 circa.
Yeah.
He was a businessman. He helped
he helped the poor.
society.
He helped the poor from
poor.
Chicago.
Yeah,
From
yeah.
Yeah,
Chicago.
he did actually.
Yeah, he was a Chicago
He had a
man.
little run-in with the IRS.
Yeah,
as
how
they
about
used
anything
to.
more recent, though, like locally from the state of Florida and more recent?
I don't know. What do you got?
Well,
What do we
got a
have?
couple
Who
of-
else cited the Fifth
we
Amendment?
could-
Said, what is the theme? Cigars here today. We had Alfonso Capone in the
Who is
first
that?
picture. That's
Casey.
Casey Anthony.
Is that the one who killed her daughter but didn't?
Yes.
Yes.
And she's munching on a cigar,
How many
drinking.
times did she take the fifth?
She took the Fifth about 60 times in the civil trial, and she chose to take the Fifth not to incriminate herself
Yeah.
in determining whether or not she killed her daughter. Okay,
Yeah.
so does this make sense to anybody? So
Is
far, we
this
got
the after?
Capone.
Is this picture from the after party?
I think she's Italian too. I
Yeah.
think
Hey,
they're
anyone
so we got
from
two
the
Italian
lobbying?
Any non-Italian people taking the
anyone from the
Fifth?
Washington lobbying?
I don't know.
Crew?
Is Hoffa? Is he Italian?
Yes, he's Italian. What is going on here, Jimmy
Uh-oh.
Hoffa? Yeah, he
Uh-oh.
Jimmy Hoffa took the Fifth Amendment.
Do you know where
two
he
times.
is? Where his bones are?
I know nothing.
I know nothing.
They're on the Giant Stadium.
Jimmy Hoffa took the Fifth Amendment two times.
Two times?
Plus
Zero.
200 times. He took the Fifth 200 times under questioning.
Well, they had no business asking
we do
him
have-
all those questions.
Well, now, yeah. That's
Now, CG, I'm going to show you a pic and see if you can name
Oh,
the next
no.
contestant.
Nobody told me there would be a quiz.
Next contestant on taking the fifth.
Uh-oh.
You recognize that picture?
Oh, Patty Hearst.
Patty Hearst.
that's
Oh, you
right.
knew I would know that one.
All right. All right. Well, here's the point of all this. And we got
We'll just quickly go through them.
Well, we just got about a minute or two.
Okay, that's all we got.
There's a pretty important guy
Yeah,
waiting to
the-
speak to you.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
So we have Jack Abramoff,
Jack Abramoff. He's doing time right now.
Joseph
Bonanno.
Bonanno,
Banana.
Miss Cleo,
Sorry, Tom.
Miss Cleo,
Okay.
Sam Giaccani,
Sorry, Tom.
Yeah, you're going after all the Italian people here.
Black Panther,
Oh,
Stokely Carmichael,
okay.
Don King.
Don King.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a class act.
Yeah.
And Bobby Seale, Black Panthers, another fifth taker. And also we have
OJ.
OJ took the fifth.
Did he? I
Yeah,
didn't know
yeah.
that. Yeah, and I followed that very. Yeah.
So anyway, those are famous.
So
fifths
put
of the-
Lois's picture back up there. You don't have to play the video. Just put her picture. Here's the
Okay.
point we're making, folks. And sometimes you do what's called reductio ad absurdum. You reduce to absurdity the position that somebody's trying to convince you of, like Lois Lerner is not guilty, and there she is right there. and you show the cavalcade of individuals that all of a sudden, hey, I'm innocent, and these are all criminals. And we maintain here on TrentoVision that the Obama administration functions exactly as a criminal organization, and they have so much hubris, so much pride, so much arrogance that they say, look, we write the damn rules, we write the laws, we interpret the laws, so we're immune from all of this. Let's advance our political agenda, and let's do it through every channel of government. And let's change America as we intended to do back in 2008. We got 8 years to do this. So we're calling them out on it. We're going to continue to do this. And how do you stop criminal organizations? You bust them up, just like La Cosa Nostra was busted up. That's what we have to do.
But they were busted up by the government.
Well, the patriots in America.
Maybe you need the mafia to bust up the government.
Yeah, maybe. The salt of the earth people have to gather together and draw a line in the sand and say, that's it, folks. And look, we have November 14 and November 16 by the rule of law to do this stuff. So people got to wake up. And our next guest is one of those individuals who is, what does that mean? You don't have him yet, I know.
I have him,
But you're working them up. Our next guest is one of those individuals who has made a lifetime of a lifetime commitment of desiring to wave the flag, and not just on 4th of July or Memorial Day weekend. He waved the flag for about 30 years, 32 or 3 years in the United States Army. Graduate of West Point, smart guy. Fought in the Vietnam War, Deputy Commanding General of the Pacific Command, and in 2004 with General McInerney, who we had on the other day, he co-authored a book called Endgame, The Blueprint for Victory in the War on Terror. He's been on our show many times. We were with him 2 weeks ago, Washington, D.C. at the National Press Club. And I'd like to bring on screen for our viewers, our listeners, our good friend, General Paul Vallely. General Vallely.
Hello.
Sir.
Volume up.
Volume up. We're getting your volume up. Hang on. We're,
There we go.
there we go.
Okay.
Oh, good to see you, sir.
Well, good to see you.
Can he see us?
Tom,
No. We have the video off because we're having trouble
Okay.
with connection.
Yeah, but we can see you. So
okay, Tom, I just wanted to say I can't do your show today because I'm going to exercise my Fifth Amendment. It may incriminate me.
It's funny you should say that.
now, in your case, that may be. In his case, that may be true.
Yeah.
That's right.
This gentleman is awakening America to the necessity to take a stand and to, well, you tell us, give us your analysis of where we are as a country and what we need to do to correct this ship that's gone awry.
I want to know how much jail space there is in Washington, D.C., how many cells are available.
Well,
Because I'll tell you what, we better start trying these people for so many things, even beyond treason. You know, lying to the American people, deception, fraud, corruption. You know, if you and I did that, Tom, you and I'd be in jail.
in a heartbeat. We've been through many administrations. You know, we're baby boomers and above at TrentoVision, and I'm the above one. Are you a baby boomer, CJ? 64.
Leave me alone.
Were you born after 64? I think you were. Yes. You know, we've seen.
I am, Tom. I was born in 1939.
There we go. And you know, we've been through some rough administrations. But General, have you ever seen anything of this magnitude where this elite group basically does whatever the hell they want to do?
Well, you know, you go back to all these agendas that have been established, and I track back to the mid-1960s when the cancer started to spread throughout our universities, throughout America. The degradation of all the great values this country was based on, the traditions, progressive socialism, communism, Now we have a tyrannical progressive socialist, and the progressive socialist just is like Bud Light. It's communist light as far as I'm concerned. And they have all the tracks of that. It's been planned. They're executing that agenda. And they think they can continue to deceive and lie to the American people, and they're going to get away with it. Well, just the opposite is true. We are turning the tide this year in 2013 as the onion is peeled back to expose these culprits that we have in government today. And as Joe McInerney pointed out, Tom, it used to be you could isolate, say, well, something happened in the Energy Department, or something happened over here in Treasury, or something in the Pentagon. But now it's not isolated by all these different issues. They're bound together. So it's coming from the top that's holding and creating all of these situations. And so they're being exposed now. As I said, General McInerney said for the first time it's permeated throughout all the agencies of government, every agency, and it's also gone down to the state level. So in that regard, we are in a situation we have never been in the United States of America here in 2013.
Let's define for the audience. We have a very intelligent audience here at TrentoVision.tv and WNN 1470. But once in a while, some nitwits come and watch the show from the other side. They follow us and all of that. You say progressive socialism. What do you mean exactly by progressive socialism?
Well, progressive, when you look at the term, make progress, to progress, to move forward. Now, you could say that about any political party, but in the case of progressive socialism, we're calling it the creep, where it creeps from socialism into full-fledged communism. And that's what's happened in any country. There's been a movement. That movement progressively continues toward communism, and that has always failed, by the way. And why these people would even become progressive socialists, I have no idea, other than the fact they've been schooled in it. So when we talk about that, we've launched at Stand Up America, Tom. We're going to change the terminology in America. And people, rather than focusing on Democrat or Republican or Libertarian, we're going to call them Americans. And we want everybody to run as an American first, no matter what you are. And we're going to start identifying candidates, or whether they support the American concept, and whether they vote or go on the Democratic ticket or the Republican ticket. That's got to be worked out procedurally in all the states. But I want everybody to come out that's for this country to say, I'm an American first, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to affect change in this country, and we're not going to be communist. We're not going to be progressive socialist, and don't get defined by all of these terms that we keep using. That's why I'm glad you brought it up. I want to start defining people as people who believe in this country and are going to fight for it, and are not going to go down the road of destruction as the Obama administration is leading us now.
Let's dive into that for a second. Then you got some questions, CJ. Let's take Jay Carney. I think everybody who's watching our show, everybody that's attuned to the current events, we've seen Jay Carney. We've seen him in, get modified and transmorphied over the past couple of weeks. But Jay Carney was a pretty decent reporter at, I believe, a magazine. Now he's become a hack for the Obama administration. They throw him out there every day. He's making stuff up. His eyes are jiggling in his head. He's turning different colors of white. What's going on inside? I mean, you were a general. You had to not just lead men into battle. You had to understand how their psyche worked. What's going on in Jay Carney's mind? Does he want communism? Does he want, socialism? I mean, does he love America? If you had to analyze him, how would you take him apart and put him back together?
Well, I think like a lot of these individuals, their soul has been stolen from them. And they have able psychologically to be brought in to this mass movement that again, will go back, we say, progressive socialism, on a track to change America forever from what it's been. And so whether they're a high school graduate or have a master's degree or doctorate's degree, they have bought in to this Kool-Aid that has been developed by Saul Alinsky and all the rest that have developed this theory of big government, tyrannical government, control the people, and that's what we see happening. So they're following that script, and these people have bought into it. We have generals and admirals, Tom, that have bought into it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what disturbs me more than anything. I've got graduates at West Point that I've talked to who bought into it. I say, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
And the best answer I got said, well, when we were at West Point, we learned duty, honor, and country, but now some of us are going down a different track. I actually had a classmate of mine say that to me. We're going down a different track.
That's scary.
So they've gotten away from their values. Their souls have been stolen from them.
Yeah.
And Tom, you talked about smart people watching your program. You know, even out here in Montana, I played golf with a group of elderly gentlemen 2 weeks ago, and the foursome I was in, they were asking me about everything that was going on with Benghazi and our Extortion 17 press conference that I had just returned from, where you were there doing a magnificent job of taping it and recording it. But they were absolutely clueless. I call living in a bubble. Their souls have been stolen, or their souls are there, but they have bought into this Kool-Aid that's been laid out to them, and they're absolutely clueless what's going on behind the scenes. So they therefore think I'm eccentric because I'm standing up for duty, honor, and country.
Yeah, you must be a kook.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a battle. We are at war for this country. And that's why it disturbs me to see members of Congress still trying to do things the old way, business as usual, rather than say we are at war. The enemy must be defeated.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned at West Point. You go to war, you win. They're at war on their side, and they're attempting to win, but we're not going to allow them to.
Yeah. Well, I think when it comes to the question about Jay Carney and these generals who are basically betraying the United States of America with their actions right now, they're all part of the nomenclatura. They're the protected class. They have no fear of progressive socialism or communism, light, dark, or medium, or anything else, because their standard of living, their way of life, they are protected. They are never...
The Obama people, you
The
mean?
Obama people, congressional staffers who are supposed to be working, investigating the Obama administration and who aren't. All these people are a protected class within the United States. It doesn't matter to them what happens to the rest of us. Whatever happens to the rest of us, they've got theirs, they're going to keep theirs, and they're going to get more of ours.
Yep.
And that's what they're really all about. And my question really has to be, for the general, if he's with us, is if the Justice Department is really the center of the corruption of this administration, they're the ones who determine what the crimes are and who gets prosecuted. If they're so corrupt that they don't enforce the laws of the United States of America, who's going to prosecute these criminals in the Obama administration?
The fox guarding the hen house.
Who is? Who's out there to do it?
Historically, there's been military coups, there's been coup d'etats. Doesn't mean it can't happen in the United States as well. In the end, the American people are going to put these people under arrest, because if we continue this way, there will be a revolution of some kind, created by many different factors that are occurring in our government today. And so as that breaks down, or we have a financial collapse or apocalyptic event coming out of the Middle East, the people in the end are going to have to stand up. And if we have to go to Washington, D.C. and put shackles and handcuffs on these people and march them off to the nearest jail, in the end, that's what we may have to do. Because if the Congress and our government leaders can't correct this course, then the people must do something. And we have the right under the Constitution to do that, by the way.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see
There
you in
are
about
cheers
6
in
months.
the bunker.
We'll see you in 6 months when we get out of the pokey.
Yeah.
And because I think the feds are driving into our driveway right
now.
But this is the point we're at, and this is not. And the general's been on the forefront of alerting people to the seriousness of the situation we're in right now. I mean, it's amazing. Really is amazing.
Well, it is. That's why I invoked my Fifth Amendment rights today on the show.
Well, we know some good mouthpieces that, and if that doesn't work,
You always have me.
That's right.
we know some. We know some.
A lot of women are standing up more than the men in this country. I'll tell you that.
We know some retired SEALs that can probably put one last mission together to bust you out of wherever you are. So
I think so.
We'll come and get you.
He's like, no worries here.
Speaking of the SEALs, Mark, you had a question. Then we'll go to extortion.
Yeah, real quick. I'm at quite a loss. At one level, it could either be the government is completely corrupt, from which all the evidence is to that level. But there is also the other side, from what the Democrats are saying, that the whole thing is just so messed up that it's out of control and big government's out of control. Either one of them is horrific. I actually think the second one, the Democrats' excuse, is actually worse than actually Obama being corrupt. That the government, the entity, is so big, so massive, that there's no one person accountable. And I think, what's your comment on that, General?
Well, that's right. And even if they are held accountable, they lie about it, and they do what we call workarounds, so that it totally confuses anybody watching it on television. But we're really at a cross point here in America. And to get back to being inept, being corrupt. Yes, there are all those things, and we see it. You can't deny it anymore.
Right.
When you watch them on television and they won't tell the truth. I just got word about an hour ago, there are potentially another 6 whistleblowers that are going to come forth now and really tell some more things that are going on within the administration, not only Benghazi, but also with the IRS, also within the CIA and Defense Department.
Wow.
That's right. That's right.
So this is a house of cards that's collapsing for Obama because being a community organizer, he's never had to go through this. And especially Chicago politics don't quite prepare you for this monstrous, gigantic world we live in today with all the different situations. That's why, Obama never was qualified. I call him, even before he was elected, he was a 14-year-old in his 40s.
Right.
Never reached manhood, and I still believe that today.
Well,
he's a figurehead and a symbol around which these socialists,
these ideologues.
project
he's
themselves.
Got the smile.
Yeah.
He's black.
They say,
He's white.
Here's
He's
the
this.
personification.
Yeah.
Here's the way we get to finally activate our program that we've been working on for the last 40 years to make it happen.
But
and he's going to be the guy, the figurehead, the symbol that lets us get away with
That's
it.
what's happening.
Well, I also just want to follow up that one question with this, General, is you're a 2-star general. Now, you have a commander, a colonel of a base, or let's say you're in the Navy, a captain of a ship, and the ship runs aground. Who gets held responsible, regardless of who caused it? Doesn't the captain, and Obama's the captain of our ship, shouldn't he be held responsible no matter what?
He's the commander-in-chief.
He's the commander-in-chief.
He's more than the captain of the ship.
Wouldn't he immediately be removed from his command, removed from his post,
Right.
regardless whether it's his responsibility, he did it, or was someone else's responsibility?
Well, that's exactly true. We had a carrier in San Francisco Bay went into the ground out there, and the captain was relieved within 72 hours. And that occurs a lot. It occurs in combat. In this case, we do have life and death situations. So in that regard, we have to look at the situation where legally and by the Constitution, there is nothing between elections and impeachment.
Right.
All right? There's no way to remove him other than impeachment or elections. Well, I'm afraid the elections thing's not working anymore in this country for a lot of different reasons. We don't have enough strength in Congress to impeach this guy. So what's left? Where's that middle ground of total inept and corruption bringing America down in a battle for the future of America, and we can't remove this guy from office? That's my dilemma.
Right.
We need a mechanism because, Tom, if you're running an organization, Mark, it goes down tomorrow, you lose all the money, you wipe out all these jobs, you have stockholders, you're out of a job. We're going to bring in a turnaround artist. And that's what we need in this country, somebody to come in and turn this country around. Now, there are a lot of things going around that we need to put the Constitution aside for a period of at least 6 months to allow America to be fixed, because we can't continue the way it's going where they're destroying the Constitution and we have no way to put a Band-Aid, or we have no way to operate to fix this situation. This is how serious it is in this country. We have got to be able to remove these people from office, try them for crimes committed against the American people.
What do you mean put the Constitution away for 6 months? Explain that to us.
Well, in other words, in a coup d'etat, or if you look back at the different revolutions, the French Revolution, whatever order of law they had at that time, they basically put it aside until they turned the government around, good or bad. So when you talk about our Constitution requires the elections to change things, and you got the impeachment thing, but you don't have any other way to fix it. So therefore, if you say, okay, if we want to fix the country, we got to set the Constitution over here on the aside for 6 months until somebody can come in and fix us, and then we can bring it back in. I'm not advocating that, but that's some of the talk that's going on, particularly out in some of the states.
Right.
They're even called
Well, the
seceding
thing
from the
is,
union
yeah,
until we fix it.
The thing is, as you said yourself, we already have the constitutional mechanism for enforcing these changes. We as citizens can invoke these arrests and prosecutions on our own despite a corrupt Justice Department. I mean, things can happen.
Well, can't you call for something like a citizen's grand jury or something?
The whole
like
conversation is like unbelievable.
I know.
I know. I can't believe we're talking about
ever
this
since
even.
I came.
Well, yeah, but that's the state of affairs.
I know,
we have got
I know.
to fix it. The
I mean,
people
we're in
have to fix
crazy
it because
land
we
now.
can't count on the leadership in Washington to fix it.
well, when you
That's the dilemma.
Well, General, when I hear lieutenant generals, admirals of the Navy, you yourself, and a lot of senior flag officers in the military saying that the Joint Chiefs of Staff is complicit in a cover-up.
In treason.
In treason, that's treasonous behavior. What do you do? I mean, and people are getting killed in Benghazi. They're dying because of this treasonous behavior, involved in a massive cover-up. And this is what is mind-blowing, that we're hearing it from senior flag officers like yourself saying other senior flag officers are doing this. Well, I grew up in the military for 30 years. My dad was in the military. I went in the Navy. I went in the Army. Generals just don't say this about generals. They just don't do it. And now I hear it all the time. I'm like, what the heck is going on?
It's a different generation, though. The current generation is part of the treason and the cover-up.
Yes, but I'm talking about people who are did have their jobs are now saying, guys.
Well, let's pursue that for a second. And we're coming down to the end of the hour. But 2 weeks ago today, Mark and I sat in the oversight hearing room and sat just behind the three whistleblowers, Thompson, Hicks, and Nordstrom, I think. And when the hearing started, Congressman Issa got everything going, swore everybody in. Very quickly, maybe a half hour into a 7-hour meeting, the Democrats, they're on the left side of the panel, maybe 20, 25 of them. They got up and they walked out, one by one. They weren't interested in this. And if they were speaking, they would come back in. They wanted nothing to do with Benghazi.
Right.
Howard Dean just the other day said, this is a waste of time.
He called it a joke.
Yeah, he called it a joke. The next day, that was May 8, 2 weeks ago from today. The next day, May 9, Thursday, we were together at the Extortion 17 press conference and the cover-up there. Both of these, we seem to have a deficiency, or as Andy McCarthy and others are now saying, a dereliction of duty by the military. what in the world, I could speak to the activists and the political world, but what is your analysis of why somebody who took an oath to uphold the Constitution, fought in 2 or 3 theaters, has scars on his body for shedding blood for this country, now is becoming complicit in a cover-up? For what reason? How do you make sense out of this, General?
Well, I think it's the modern-day generals and admirals that we've groomed to be politically correct. We've taken the warrior ethos out of it. We can't even say victory anymore. We train these people in the different war colleges and command and general staff at the higher levels that they get into this political indoctrination. We send them off to get master's degrees, doctor's degrees. Like Petraeus, we sent him off to Princeton to get his doctor's degree, and you can take all their profiles and go down the line. Number 2, they don't realize anymore that their oath is to the Constitution and not the President of the United States. He happens to be in the chain of command there. He's the commander-in-chief. But their duty first is to the citizens of America and to the Constitution. They seem to have gotten away from that. And so that's why we've been hollering, many of us who are flag officers, to stand up, be counted. Don't worry about your next promotion. And if you do it as individuals, they just destroy it, because then they require you to retire right away. So we're looking for a group of senior officers to finally stand up to this administration and lay it on the line that their duty is to protect the American people first, not to protect a political party or an ideology.
Amen.
But I'm afraid
All right.
that's where they've come to.
No, that's and where are we in that process? First of all, tell everybody about Stand Up America US so they can get in touch with you too.
Our group, founded by Jerry Mullen and myself, he produced Bomba 2016, won the Academy Award for Schindler's List, formed this some 7 years ago to be a conduit of information, not only on national security, but what America needs to continue to stand up for to protect itself. So we do a lot of writing. We have active teams in the Middle East that report back to us. We have 12 intelligence analysts. We focus, I'd say 70% of our time, Tom, on national security affairs, threats to the United States. And as you know, I've been over in the Syrian Turkish border twice in the last 10 months. So we actually put people on the ground and do the investigation and come back and do the reports. So we've done that on border. We've done extensive studies on the border and solutions. And like many of the think tanks, Tom, we actually do things. We just don't publish reports. We actually go out and do things, such as the press conference that we helped co-sponsor last week on Extortion 17. So in that regard, we do a multitude of things, and you can see our website, which is standupamericaus.org. And that is our longstanding organization that's committing to really, truly, not talking just about standing up for America, but actually doing something.
Beautiful. We have your website. Your name was on the screen. We're going to let you go here in a second. We got to bring you back. We got questions about Syria. That's a very confusing situation.
Yeah, there's some good stories about Russia on your page here too.
Extortion 17, Benghazi. So you be safe out there where you are up in the hills, and we will have you back. But give us a closing 30 seconds or a minute, what you want to say to America right now.
Well, Tom, all is not lost. We have to bind together in a common understanding that we are in the battle for America. We've got to affect this in our communities, in our states, and wherever we go. And wherever I travel, I have to talk about what's meaningful to save this country and bring it back, because we know the enemy is here, he's in our country, and we have enemies outside the country. That's the battle for the survival of the United States of America, and we have to join together to do that.
Amen. Amen. All right, General Paul Vallely, thank you very much once again for your time. We shall see you, sir, and we'll be in touch, okay?
Thank you.
Signing out. Okay, we
Wow.
can say goodbye to
That
the
was
general.
a scary conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you hear, retired generals talking about, not him himself, but just talking about, let's set aside the Constitution for 6 months and get this country under control.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
like
even the fact that people are
they
sitting
have-
around talking about this it blows my mind. It's
Now-
like
now-
a plot in a movie or something.
Now the thing about it is, all right, I can hear it from some crazy
These are
red.
not quacks,
And this is
yeah.
not crazy redneck out of Alabama or something like
Yeah.
that. I mean, these are people who decorated, served our country, loved our country.
Yeah.
Love nothing more than to see our country grow. And this is not some crazy, and this is not just one person. This is a whole slew of flag officers had this same type of conclusion, a rationale that they have come to. This is what surprises me, coming from a military background. This is what truly surprises me, is the talk that's going on between the generals about other generals. I just never saw it happen, and all the time I grew up in the military. My dad being a colonel in the Army, hung around generals all the time. You never say anything bad about another general publicly. You just don't do it, because it lowers the quality, the appearance of the military, because their
Right.
duties to the military, the country,
Right.
and all the way up. But when they're saying this about other flag officers, especially the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff involved in a cover-up,
Secretary of Defense.
it blows me away. It blows
Yeah.
me away. It really does.
I've been at this game for over 30 years, and I remember the tail end of the Vietnam War, all of that stuff. It was very, very tough for the country back then. And the Nixon, and people hated Reagan, and the Clinton years, and never. And I, not as an observer, as a participant. I've been involved as an activist for over 30 years, in and out of Washington regularly, and all kinds of stuff. And never, ever did we have conversations like this.
I know, this is like crazy land
this
conversation.
is very bizarre.
This
and,
is
know?
upside down. But if you look around the world, I mean, not even just in the United States, the whole world
Yep.
is upside
It
down.
really is. I mean,
and
you look at
and
Greece
we're
is on
just
fire.
mirroring it.
Well, let's take a quick comment from Imam Abdullah. How'd you like General Paul Vallely?
I cannot say anything bad about this man because I'm afraid he would crush me with his bare hands. So I will cede my time back to the room because he is a scary man.
Somehow, hanging around us, you become very smart.
You have.
Somehow you have.
He's wised up.
Yeah, but all right.
I'm glad to hear about destruction of your country, but I will not comment on that man.
we got to have the general back on a regular basis, and folks. The essence of our show today was the IRS is being used by the Obama administration, just like La Cosa Nostra or some Mexican cartel uses organs of government to suppress, destroy, hurt, harm the people.
Yeah.
That can't stay. Wake up, America. Go visit Paul Valley's site, standupamerica.us.org, and obviously we shall see you tomorrow. Signing off.
Thank you.